Alright, Shalom. Call Allah Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I was just thinking about this plague of locusts over there in East Africa. And I was watching this video and just noticing that they will not give the Most High credit for his work that he's doing in the earth. But I'm gonna play this video.
Of millions, they've devastated thousands of crops as they move across parts of Africa. CNN's Authorizes takes a look at the problem and finds out why climate change might play a role.
For 3 months now, swarms of desert locusts have been eating their way through East Africa. Here in Kenya's Laikipia County, people bang utensils to try and ward off an increasing menace to their livelihoods. All to no avail. The locusts keep coming. A voracious appetite means these locusts eat the equivalent of their own body weight in a single day. And they move with speed on the changing winds, as far as 150 kilometers, almost 100 miles a day. Beans, maize, pasture for animals, nothing stands a chance, raising fears over food security as the farmlands are decimated. And they keep breeding, laying their eggs in the earth in pastoral and agricultural lands. Across East Africa, locust swarms of biblical proportions have been threatening life and grazing land and eating all the people's crops. Here you can see these hoppers are the new generation that will pose a bigger threat to agriculture in Kenya. The war against locusts is now in full swing. If the swarms aren't stopped, the UN says they can multiply as much as 500 times by June. So the Kenyan government and UN agencies are fighting back with pesticides. In Isiolo, northeastern Kenya, villagers tell us they're seeing billions of newly hatched locusts. How did this happen? After years of drought, 2 cyclones hit East Africa in as many years. These climate change influenced phenomena replenished pastureland and filled the rivers. But the heavy rains made the wet earth ideal breeding ground for locusts.
The situation is really it's disparate but not hopeless. We intend to control it, maybe in 2-3 months.
Despite the challenges, they've killed as many as 17 swarms in a day. A medium-sized swarm being 30 to 40 million insects. But for those on the front line of the locust invasion, like 47-year-old herder Chris Amerikwa, the future is full of doubt.
A big swarm, big locust. They were just covering the whole sky, such that there was a kind of a cloud.
Having lost all his 25 cows in the devastating drought last year, he is worried about what these locusts and pesticides will do.
It will even complicate our livelihood in the future. If they're gonna stay and multiply here, or they make here home, they are home.
Caught between the climate crisis and the locust invasion, herders like Chris hope to beat the odds they're facing. Farai Sevenzo, CNN, Isiolo, Kenya.
Derek Van Dam is joining me now live to talk more about it. It's so sad that how this locust epidemic is hurting people and can have a real threat, as we've said, to millions.
Without a doubt, Natalie, and the link to climate change is clear. If I can, maybe I can just say what is, at least on my mind, this is terrifying. This is one of the most horrific things that I can imagine to see, but I can only imagine what it's like to be on the ground, to see your crops and your agriculture just decimated by these swarms, these infestations of flying locusts. I mean, how do we get to this point, right? Well, think about what climate change does. We have an increase in global temperatures that supercharges storms like cyclones that occurred in 2018 off the Arabian Peninsula. And then you take climate change, and that tips the scales, that allows for these large-scale planetary circulations to favor these swarms of locusts. And unfortunately, we might want to get used to these flying pests, because if the science holds, it looks as if they'll become greater in numbers and become more frequent as well. Here's why. There's the 2 cyclones that impacted the Arabian Peninsula Peninsula in the middle and late parts of 2018. This produced an unprecedented amount of rainfall across a usually dry part of that area. What you're looking at is about 2,500 square kilometers of desert landscape across the Arabian Peninsula that was filled with water. They saw 2 times their yearly average of rainfall from these cyclones just in 24 hours alone. Also, meteorologists look towards water temperatures for these large-scale circulation patterns I talked about a moment ago, and these are starting to accumulate on the east coast of Africa. Warmer ocean temperatures means more convection, more thunderstorms, the potential for more water. That produces vegetation on the ground, and that allows for these infestations to flourish. Check this out, Natalie. You got to see the lifespan of these things. As they continue to mature, they lay their eggs. They produce 20 times larger each generation of new locust swarms. That is an exponential growth, so the potential for larger swarms exists. Back to you.
Yeah, we can see that on your map right there. All right, story to watch for sure. Derek, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, so you see these devils, they just will not give the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushua credit for his work that he's doing in the earth. They blaming it on climate change and warmer temperatures in the water. No. Come on, man. It's like, damn, you just all praises Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. I want to get a couple scriptures, because you got to have wisdom. Wisdom has to be dwelling with you. You have to have wisdom to understand what's really going on, and the Most High has to give it to you. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, starting at verse 18. The beginning, ending, and midst of the times, the alterations of the sun, of the turning of the sun, and the change of seasons, the circuits of years, and the positions of stars, the natures of living creatures, and the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds, the reasonings of men, the diversities of plants, and the virtues of roots, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me. That's the only way you're going to know. Most High has to give you that wisdom to understand how the interworkings of the earth and of the seas and the stars and the planets and all that. For in her is an understanding spirit holy, one only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the thing that is good, quick, which cannot be letted, ready to do good, kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding, pure and most subtle spirits. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of the Most High, and pure influence flowing from glory, from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her. And right, Esau is defiled. So their explanations and all that, they can't explain everything because they're defiled. So they can't grasp the wisdom. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, and the image of his goodness. And being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new, and in all ages entering into holy souls, meaning being set apart. Wisdom is only for the elect. She maketh them friends of God and prophets. For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. And that's what I wanted to get. The Most High, he only loves the ones that dwell with wisdom. And wisdom has to try you in order to see that you're worthy. And the last scripture I want to get is, we're going to go back to Exodus chapter 10. This is when the Most High Lord was using Moses to bring forth those plagues on Egypt. And this is when he brought forth the locusts. And it says, Moses 10 and 13. Moses 10 and 13. Salaki. Exodus 10 and 13. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt. And Yahweh brought forth, and the Most High brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. And the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in all the coasts of Egypt. Very grievous were they before them. There were no such locusts as they, neither after them shall be. Exactly. He brought forth the east wind, and due to that wind, it brought forth the locusts. Basically, the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Hawashai, all credit goes to him for the pestilences, the famines, the destruction. This is all doing. So all praises. Call halal Yahweh Hashem Hawashai for the work that you're doing in this earth and all that you're doing, because we needed to see this. So hope you were edified with that. Shalom.